Hi, this is Jason from Horrific Nightmares, and welcome back to another edition of What's in the Bag, Jay? Now, this is the series where I pick 6 movies from my collection that I haven't seen, write their names down on a piece of paper, draw one out at random, and do a short review. Now, the ones that don't make it, I obviously roll my Freddy vs. Jason die, and they have a chance to come back next week. And if the ones that I pick to come back next week aren't the ones that you're interested in, definitely vote. I will definitely take it into consideration. So, with that in mind, returning from last week, we have Stripperland, Fury of the Wolfman, Dark Room, and Antidote. Now making their very first appearance this week, Fear Inc. and Haunted Highway. So now, this is where I take the names, I throw them in the bag, while I once again tell you guys that if the one you are looking for does not get picked, definitely vote this week, and I will take it under consideration. I'm going to give the bag a good tussle. Reach my hand inside the bag and see what we can find. This week is Fury of the Wolfman. So, that is what I'm going to watch and do a short review. Now comes the part where we see what comes back next week. Now I lay all these side by side and roll my trusty Freddy vs. Jason die to see what comes back next week. 4. So that means I draw 4 names out of the bag, and those will be returning next week. Let's give the bag another good tussle. Mix them up real good. And start drawing names. The first name is Antidote. That will be returning next week. The second name is Fear Inc. That will be returning next week. The third name is Haunted Highway. That will be returning next week. And last, but certainly not least, if I can find one in here, is Stripperland. Now, if Darkroom doesn't get picked, or now that Darkroom hasn't gotten picked, I should say, if you do want that to return next week, definitely vote for it. I will take it under consideration. But right now, I'm going to watch Fury of the Wolfman and come back with a short review later. Well, I'm back. I just watched Fury of the Wolfman, and I will say that I am thoroughly confused. But before I started talking about that, Fury of the Wolfman is a 1972 film, which runs approximately 84 minutes, but that is debatable. But I'll get into that in a little while as well. It is also known as The Wolfman Never Sleeps and La Furia del Hombre Lobo. My Spanish isn't very good. Now, this is directed by Jose Maria Zabalza, but it's written by Paul Naschy. As you can see there, this is a Paul Naschy monster classic. Now, Paul Naschy plays Waldemar Daninsky. Perta Crystal plays Dr. Lorna Elliman. And Veronica Luan plays Karen. Now I'm going to get into my interesting thing about the film before I get into my review. This is the first film to involve a Yeti as the catalyst that transforms Paul Naschy into a werewolf. I guess I can get behind that. It did confuse me a little bit because they are two different creatures, I guess. But, I can get behind that. I'm going to try to give you a brief synopsis, and it's going to be very brief because I really don't want to give away anything, and I'm also really, really confused. So, this film starts out, Paul Naschy's character comes back from Tibet. He's a doctor. He's the lone survivor of an expedition in Tibet, and apparently he was bitten by a Yeti. When he comes back, he finds out his wife is cheating on him, so he turns into a werewolf and kills them both. From there, he is in a car accident, and I don't know how that really happened. And from there, Dr. Lorna Ellman actually unearths him from a coffin. Didn't really explain how he got there, but I'll get to that in a few minutes. Apparently, she's conducting experiments. And radio frequencies are what's bringing this guy back to life. And she's able to kind of direct him or mind control him. So when he kills, it's basically her that is directing him to kill. I'm going to have to leave it there. I probably already said too much, but this movie is very confusing. And I think I might know why. This is an alpha video. This was brand new. I unwrapped it to watch it for what's in the bag, Jay. And I do have some other alpha videos, and I have watched them, and they are decent. As far as transfers, they're usually never that good, but at least you get the movie. Here's the thing about this one. When I looked on IMDb, it's supposed to be 90 minutes long. Now, this is 84 minutes, so I believe that I have some scenes that were pretty much cut out of the film. And they were scenes that were supposed to link some of the scenes that I watched together, if that makes any sense. For example, I was listening to another reviewer and watching someone who watches a lot of Paul Naschy films, and apparently the Wolfman was electrocuted after dispatching his wife and her lover. That was not in this film. It was cut. Yeah, and I think they spliced a couple scenes from different Paul Naschy films in there. Not sure why they did that. Yeah, like I said, I'm left a little confused. An example, another example. Towards the end of the film, when he's in the castle where the mad woman doctor is conducting her experiments, he's coming down the stairs as the Wolfman, and then they cut to the next scene, which is a funeral for the doctor's father. Yeah. So, like I said, I'm thoroughly confused. Did I like the film? I liked the concept. I thought it was interesting. I would like to see it the way it was meant to be seen. I think it would shed a lot more light on the actual film itself. Yeah, but this movie is just very, very confusing because of all the scenes that were cut. I thought Paul Naschy as the Wolfman was awesome. I thought he looked awesome. Like I said, I think they might have spliced a few scenes from other Paul Naschy monster films in there. But he did look pretty cool. some of the scenes where he was the Wolfman, he was acting feral and animalistic, and then they had a cut scene, and he was wearing different clothes and walking like a normal guy. So, like I said, I'm a little confused, a little disappointed that I wasn't able to see the film the way it was meant to be seen. But I do like Paul Naschy as the Wolfman, and I thought that the makeup effects were pretty good. I thought that the story had potential. And I don't want to trash a film that I don't believe I saw the way it was meant to be seen, if you understand my meaning for that. Yeah, that's basically all I have to say on this one. Yeah, it's a shame. If one didn't make it this week that you guys would like me to review or make it back into the drawing next week, definitely vote for it. And if you like what you see in here, hit that like button and subscribe. And until next time, peace.